Hi, this is Alan with Green Canvas Interiorscape, taking a peek at one of our Bursera bonsais that we've had for years and years, doing a little fall cleanup so you can kind of appreciate more of what makes this plant cool and unique. We don't know what variety it is. This is the least of the peeling bark of all the Burseras that I've got. And what's unique about it is it's got this double trunk with the cool, long, weird root. And I want to expose some of that and make it a little more visible. So, time for a little beheading. Shortly, these plants will sprout up and become lush again. And that gives you some of the cool of that root. At the same time, you can kind of clean out some of the dead dead leaves and things like that. Pick up the dead junk off the ground. We have two different kind of kalanchoes here. This one I think is called oak leaf. This one is fang. And this is a cool jade. That what I do with these jades is I break off these leaves. And by doing that, you kind of give the plant a chance to look a little more tree-like. And you got to do a real quick snap. And those guys snap off. And in a week or two, we've got roots growing off there. And just for the sake of it, I'll behead that too. So we've got 10 new plants coming from that. Little whack job there. And all around that kind of opens things up. And if you want to back up, Devorlea, my daughter's helping me film. Turn this guy around. The base you see here is the self-watering reservoir. And for a Bursera from the desert, this is one remarkably thirsty plant. And I planted it up with haworthias here, so much that you can't even see the pot anymore. And so haworthias are not the most straightforward plant to thin out. They've got a whole mat of roots through there. So you just kind of weasel through there and pick out the dead stuff and maybe expose some more of these kalanchoes here. Oh, look at that cool root. So you see we take the old charcoal out and this out and uncover some of that hollowness. And it's got that oddness to it that I've never seen another plant grow exactly like that. And here's another jade we can thin out. You break off those leaves and then you can see more of the fabulous weirdo trunk. Shoshi, do you want to come visit? My daughter Sarah Miriam and Shoshana are here too. And Shoshi's going to climb up and make troubles. Yaya, can you restrain her so that she does not cause mayhem here? See how we break that off, and all of these leaves will then root. We've got all kinds of dead junk in there that we clean out, and that helps to keep things nice and sanitary and bug-free. Everything is just remarkably healthy here. And this one is a unique one. Back up a little bit there. Can you zoom in here? Mama. I've done the broken limb training on this, and it's worked very well. I've snapped these as the branches have gone up too far here. I snap them and they heal in that position. Got one snap, two snap, three snaps. And then over here we got one too. And it kind of gave the chance for the tree to have a little more personality. What do you think, Devorlea?
I think this tree is very unique, and I like how you're cutting it, and I love the bark. It's also very unique.
And when I cut it, do you see why I cut it?
Yes.
It was kind of hidden away.
To help it grow and to help it. It's like shaving a dog, just with leaves.
There you go. And it opens things up so you can see more of the visual appeal. This has been in this pot for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And some of my other ones I've transplanted over time. And this is not a Bursera Fagaroides. This is a different type. And it just grows completely different from the rest of the Burseras. And it rarely, if ever, makes a seed. So, it's a happy one. So, over time I would, because this one is so gargantuan, here, I'll give you a little tour of how we do this. Is it even possible to cut this guy out without destroying? I don't think it makes sense to try to thin that out. It just kind of is what it is. So normally I try to start out with these haworthias are young pups of a full-grown mature plant like that. And so over time, pups grow into this, and then kind of look oversized for the composition, but I think it all works. And so a little bit of cleaning up and plucking the dead stuff out. And this plant will some years drop its leaves in the fall, and other years will continue to stay green. And if I try to water it through the winter, it stays a lot more green and leafed out, but at some point it typically will lose most of its leaves. And you can see that wacky double root wherever this was collected from many moons ago. It probably grew between some tight rocks or in some strange way. So you want to back up a little bit, honey, and get a big picture shot. And also, all of these jade leaves can come off. And some of this black that I'm seeing on here, I think, was a little bit of hail damage. We had some big hail this summer. And the hail was probably gumdrop size or bigger, which hurts. And I would imagine it hurts the leaves a little bit too. You cut that guy off. You can see these wacky guys here. Anything else need trimming here, Dvorak?
I don't think so. I like the big, mouth plant. What's it called?
And these little plucky dead leaves snap right off.
What's the big mouth
and here,
plant
this
called?
happens naturally as you're cleaning stuff up. See that little dried, that little moist spot? And that tells you that you want to wait a couple of days before you plant this, and one of these will grow into one of these in no time. And you can look how deep this reservoir is. This thing, in a hot summer day, goes through this reservoir almost daily. And so you can see that's a lot of water consumption for plants that are supposedly quite tolerant of not watering. But when it's actively growing, it's moving like crazy. And here is another way to propagate. This is a Horothea that got probably hit by a hail. And so this little leaf will, over time, send out a baby from its end and grow more and more and more. And so that's it. Again, I'm Alan from Green Canvas Interiorscape, 612-267-2526. I'll be posting more succulent and bonsai videos in the future and invite you to take a look and follow and see what we're doing. And maybe you can pick up something or teach me something too. Thanks for looking.